did. We're gonna wait for the viewers to come in. I think we on live, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got one view. Hey y'all.
Tracy.
For everyone that's coming in, this is the Pearl Show. I have the beautiful Miss Teia Acker here with me today, and we're gonna be doing an awesome interview about all her business ventures, her story. So I want y'all to go ahead and like this video, share this video, tag this video, comment. You know, it's always greatly appreciated, because as women, we can always help everyone with our story. We all have one thing in common, and that's being a woman. So we can always help the next woman with our story, whether it be for the past, the present, or even in the future. We can take something from each other. Will someone comment? Thank you. She's saying tuned in. Y'all go ahead and share this video. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So tell me about Miss Teia Acker. Who is Miss Teia Acker?
Ooh, I don't know today. No, I'm just kidding. We just came off an awesome class of '99 weekend. So
okay, I saw that. Y'all looking so nice.
Yeah, I had to revamp who I am today. But no, seriously, I'm a regular person, down to earth person. I'm about business, of course. I'm a mom. I'm a fiance. I'm everything. I'm whatever I need to be when I need to be it, pretty much, yeah.
Because you are a woman of many hats. And you know, yes. I've been doing my research on you, and I was reading your article in Voyage ATL. Okay. So you say your story began in 2013.
Pretty much.
So tell me what happened in 2013. What happened in 2013 that molded you into the woman you are today?
Well, it was a chain of events. When you talk about anything can happen. So in 2013, in January, February-ish, my ex-husband and I separated.
Okay.
My children were 5 and 3, and then in April, his father passed away.
Okay.
So prior to us getting out on our own and getting our feet wet in our first house, we lived with his father. And so he became a very core person to our family, and when he passed away, I felt like, wow, you know, I'm losing 2 people at one time. And so then the very next month, my father passed away.
Oh, wow.
Wow, right. May 14th. So he passed away in May, and then in July, I was laid off from a company that I worked for a good while, and that was my 3rd time being laid off, but I was completely laid off that time. There was no coming back. So in that year, actually that was in June, and so at that point, I was just like, you know, if I wasn't strong-minded, it really would have took me in. Because I'm thinking I'm taking so many losses, and I'm a single mom now. Things that I didn't picture myself happening. The year before, everything, it seemed like perfect. The odd number years. 2019 has been awesome, thank God. But it just seemed like those odd number years were really gut-wrenching. And so I'm looking at my children, and they're young, they don't understand what's happening, they just know that things have changed. And I'll never forget, I needed money to pay for some things, and it wasn't like I didn't have friends, but a part of it was a pride issue, and another part of it was, I'm just going to weather this storm. It's not their responsibility, it's mine. And so my son, his dad had just brought him a video game and a TV, but his dad wasn't paying me, so I did what any single mother would do. I told him, I said, well, mommy's going to take your TV to get it fixed. But I really took it to pawn it. And he never got that TV back. Now, of course, when I got well off and different things, I made sure his room was everything that it should have been when he was 5. But I pawned his television, paid some bills, but it still wasn't enough. And someone I know told me, you can go to the Salvation Army and they'll help you with your utilities, you know, lights, water, whatnot. I went there, and I was sitting there, and this is how life will bring you full circle. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, God, I got a bachelor's degree. I got 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree. How did I get here? And at that moment, it was not about my level of education. It was the simple fact that this is real life. It doesn't matter how much you prepare. It doesn't matter how much you invest in your relationships, how much you invest in your children. If something's going to happen, something's going to happen. So before the lady called me in to help me, a mother was coming out with a boy and a girl in her hand.
Remind you of you.
And it looked, and it, I mean, it just really just took me out.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got to her, face red and everything. And so I saw them walking. The little boy didn't have on any shoes. And I was like, God, you know how we always saying,
Mm-hmm.
God, if you get me out of this right here, I'm never coming back to that. And so seriously, I said, God, if you help me get out of this, I'm never coming back to that. And what I meant by that was I never was going back to a place of bondage. And when I meant bondage, I wasn't going to be tied down by an employer. If what I do don't work for you, then I can't work for you.
Right.
I wasn't going to be tied down in a relationship. If I can't be my authentic, true self, we can't be together. I wasn't going to be trapped into being and fitting a mold for people to like me. So 2013, I really came out of my shell. I was married to a preacher. So, you know, wearing different color lipstick and different color nail color and all of that, you know, it was a lot of pressure because I was only 26 years old when we got married. And I felt like, wait a minute, I just went from clubbing in the college to straight on the front row. I'm not ready for this, but I wanted to be married. So when that ended, it put me in a frame of mind that I still wanted to be married, but I had to change up some things about me. And I was no longer selling the woman that they thought they wanted. I was going to be me. And me didn't work for a lot of people up until now. And so now I'm able to be myself and then be business and then, you know, do different things.
Be a mom.
Right, be a mom. So, yeah, 2013 really brought me full circle to where I am now.
So let's talk about Ebony and Ivory. When did you found that? When did that come about?
July 25th, 2013.
Okay.
So me and a young lady, she was actually going to be Ivory. Believe it or not, it was two of us.
So Ebony is your name? Or?
No.
No. Okay.
So we were playing off the Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney, Ebony and Ivory, because she was a Caucasian lady and I was black.
Okay.
So we were going to be Ebony and Ivory.
Okay.
But you know, again, had an idea, had a logo, excited, ready to go, and then she said, I don't want to do it again. So now I'm at the crossroads like, okay, what am I going to do? I already, you know, put in for the EIN. I already did all this legwork. What's going to happen? And then she ended up having some health issues, and she just couldn't do it. And at first I was going to just throw in the towel and be like, you know what? I don't want to do it. Forget it. If it ain't going to work with the concept, it's not going to work. But then I just changed it up. And then I was just like, you know what? We're going to apply black words to white paper and keep it going. And that's just what I've been doing ever since. And the starting point for that, it's hard to start a business when nobody knows you.
It's very hard.
Or when they only know you from a certain area and it has nothing to do with your business. And so I was very grateful that a lady named Angela Deloach gave me the opportunity. She had a boutique, the A&A Accessories boutique. And she was like, well, you can do all my flyers. You can do whatever you want to do. You could use my business to do it. And that's really how I started, just from, you know, doing different things for her business. And then I started noticing where other businesses could benefit from it. And it just kind of took off to that point. In the first 2 years, you know, people were still trying to figure out, do I want to deal with her? Do I not? And then after a while, it just took off. And then it was like, you know.
So what do you offer in that business?
So Ebony and Ivory Professional Services, the tagline is, let us help you get noticed. And so we polish the business, you know, the branding aspect. Now, I myself utilize various amounts of people for my branding per se. Like I use Kevin Jermaine for my logo. I use Crystal Pitts for my flyers, different things like that. But I incorporate all of that. When I meet with people, I say, this is the person you need to contact for your logo. This is the person you need to contact for your flyers, to polish it. I make backdrops, step and repeats, retractable banners, business cards, flyers, websites, anything business. And to say, to include yourself, I do that as well. It's just a whole bunch of things that we do. We're currently in 13 states, one country, and numerous surrounding employees, a lot of cell phone ringing, a lot of emails, but we get it done.
That's good. That's awesome. So I heard you're an author.
Yes.
Let There Be Business.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What made you write that book? Did you wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to write a book? Or Was it some experiences you went through?
Well, I wrote it for two purposes.
Okay.
For one, I hate when people have access to information and they don't share it.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers me. So I said anything that I know or that I know can help somebody, I'm going to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I know people be like, well, you know, you robbing yourself, you could charge for that, or you giving the game away for free. It's not really giving the game away for free.
It's already out there.
Right. I'm like, you know, and we should be in the mode where we are helping people regardless. I've helped people start the same exact business that I do, and I don't feel threatened by that because I can't do what I'm doing forever. So
and you can't do it all.
Correct. So why not? But I just I wrote the book because I wanted people to understand that you did not have to go through all these hoops to become a business owner. You need these simple steps, and then you needed to have affirmations in your head and mentally say you could do this. So the whole "let there be" came from, I was in church and we was reading about Genesis, and you know everything that God said "let there be," it was. So I'm like, okay, you know, if he gave me that kind of power, in retrospect, I'm not God, but in retrospect, if he gave me that power, why can't I speak my business into existence? And that's actually where it came from.
I love that idea. I love that because you made a great point. I feel that people who aren't exposed a lot and they don't know a lot of people, they don't know where to start at to build their brand.
Right.
So that's the hardest thing about a business is getting noticed.
Right.
That's the hardest thing. So that was an awesome idea, and I feel like people they have a pride issue. You know,
they do.
I will ask for help if I need it, but you know, sometimes just because you ask, you know, I've reached out to several business owners, and you know, they'll look at the message, but they'll never respond. Mm-hmm. You know, but then you can go to other people. Like when one door closes, you can always go to another one.
Right.
So it's
see, what I learned about that is that's really a win for you. Like anybody who I've reached out to 2013, 2014, 2015, and they kind of brushed me off, that was a win because now I don't owe them anything in 2019. You know, sometimes we have so many people who help us get to a certain point that by the time you winning, you got to call all these names and tell them thank you. Yeah. Now I only got one name, God, and that's it. Like I appreciate people who support me, but there's a difference between support and people putting you on.
Exactly.
And I didn't want anybody to feel like if it wasn't for me, you know.
Because they will say that in a minute.
In a heartbeat, you know. It was me. She wouldn't have did it. So, you know, I appreciate the no's, because the no's propelled me to where I am now. And so now, you know, if I reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need this, that, and the other, some of them are still slow to respond. Some of them like, whatever you need, whatever. Because I don't just do this to win for myself. You know, every week I'm trying to support a small business. I'm trying to wear a dress from this boutique. I'm trying to wear earrings from that boutique. I'm trying to support people and put them in the rooms that I'm going. I mean, I carry the bag, but I don't want it weighed down. I don't mind it being heavy, but I don't want it weighed down. So, you know, it's just one of them things.
And that's so awesome that you mentioned that, because I feel like we live in an era where everyone is like, oh, no one's supporting me, no one, but who have you supported?
Right.
You know?
And not only that, you know, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to launch something and do something, I'm not going to do it at home. I know they say charity begins at home and all that, but that's old folks. So we live in a day and age now where people got to see the muscle happening away before they jump on you, and that's just it's unfortunate.
They support you from out of town quicker.
They will.
They will.
So that's why when I first launched my business, it said I lived in Charlotte for half a year, then it said I lived in Atlanta, then it said I lived in Houston, then it said I lived in Washington State, then it said I changed it from everywhere. I know where I'm from. Nobody have to remind me of that. I don't have to walk around with a West Savannah badge on to let people know where I'm from. But at the end of the day, I know where I'm from is not going to necessarily jump on to who I am now. Now, if I say I want to put some sneakers on and go play basketball, or I want to go eat a thrill or something, everybody will jump on that because that's what I used to do. But because of what I'm trying to do now, I know I got to cast my nets and launch deep, and then I reel them in like this right here. When they start seeing the numbers happening around them, then they'll support.
And I hate that because it should be the other way around.
It should be,
but it's
you know, such is life.
So what about your podcast Get Noticed? How was that, Bird?
Well, actually, my brother sent me a podcast that he was doing. And I'm the type of person, if I see something working, I want to try it. Right, but I'm financially driven. So when I saw the little thing down at the bottom, like you can make money for this, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. So he sent me his podcast. I listened, and then I reached out to a couple of people who have studios, and I said I want to do a podcast, and they were like, one person told me 1,500, and I was like 1,500, no way. So I started doing some research, and I found a engine that I could use. I started talking about business. Before I know it, it went from iTunes to Spotify to all these different stations. It's like 12, 13 stations. And then I was on Tidal. I pay $9.99 a month to be on Tidal. Only because I love Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was like, well, if I'm going to pay to be on Tidal, I want to be on Tidal.
Mm-hmm.
And so there it was. I got connected with some people and was like, hey, I want to be on Tidal. So at least the money that I'm making from Tidal is technically paying for my subscription. So it's like, it's a win-win. But
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see myself paying for something that I wasn't going to benefit from other than listening to somebody else's music. So now when people get in the car with me, that's the first thing they got to listen to is my podcast on Tidal. Then we can listen to whatever.
So I know you mentioned earlier that reaching your goals, is friendships, relationships. How did that make you feel?
Well, I've had the same core friends for a long time. And I think this is where we go wrong because sometimes we equate social media friends with real friends. And that's the pressure we put on ourselves because they're not our real friends. Those are our supporters. We're friends through a network.
Mm-hmm.
But, when the rubber meets the road, it's not real life. And so sometimes we disappoint ourselves because we expect us from them. And you're not going to get you from them. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. So my friends, my true friends, in and out, been there from thick and thin. Any idea I run across them, they might roll their eyes in the back of their head, but I can bet 10 toes down they're going to be there. Mm-hmm. If I say I need all y'all to come help decorate for this, that, and other, they're going to be there, no complaints. And so those are your true friends. I have lost some people. Mm-hmm. I have. I've lost more than I've gained, but I'm so one-dimensional until it don't matter. My mama tell me, well, you need people and don't be like that. Mm-hmm. But if you're not tied to my goals and my destiny and this financial gain that I'm trying to get, it's not personal with me.
Right.
I used to wear my emotions on my sleeve, and if somebody say they don't like me, I go out of my way to make them like me, and then I just realized that was just dumb.
It was
just dumb.
I did that too young. I had a lot of problems with friends, and one of my best friends, we just had a conversation last night, mm-hmm. and I was like, can you judge someone if it's your friend and you're having something, mm-hmm. but they don't kind of support you? And he was like, I love you, but you gotta stop expecting you from other people.
Right.
And that's the realest thing he could have told me, because I used to do that in the past too. Like, if somebody said they didn't like me, I wanted to prove to them why they should like me, why I'm a good person.
Right.
But as you get older, it's like, no, bye.
Right. And these are people who I've helped. Like, I bought all their jewelry when they have a little sale or whatever. I buy their clothes. I come to the kids' baseball games, different things like that. But I had to realize that some people are only with you for what you can do for them, and once you say no,
I was just about to say
that's it.
Once you say no, you will find out a person's true colors.
Right. Once you cut it off, you will find out. But you need to find out. It's very hurtful, right. But you need to find out, because the further you get, it's a reason why the bottom of the pyramid is bigger than the top. Because the higher you go, I was just telling somebody like the other day, when you're in an airplane, everything look like ants. Mm-hmm. Everything. But the lower you get, the more you start seeing people for what they are. So I don't even focus on being down here. It is what it is. And I'm not better than anybody or none of that. I come from very humble beginnings. We're not even going to start with chapter 1981 or chapter 1994 or chapter 1997. We just going to zoom and put y'all where y'all found me in 2019, and we'll stay here. But I come from very humble beginnings. And so I don't apologize for staying up to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning to achieve my dreams, and then you seeing it happen. I don't apologize for posting every day. When I was posting messy stuff, it was clap, 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 clap.
Oh, that's what they do. They love
clap,
that.
Clap, clap. Oh, goodness. Your Facebook memories will remind you how messy you used to be. And so mine would show me all the little negative stuff I would just be saying out my mouth. Like, now that's when I questioned my friends, because y'all was really my friends. Y'all should have told me to take that out. But now that it's a flyer here and I'm speaking there and I'm speaking there, you got the few little claps, and then you got the people who saying congratulations.
And that's what I say too, because it's so crazy how I noticed that if you put a positive post, you might get 1 or 2 likes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you put up a video, you got 2,000-3,000 views. So
Right.
y'all watching.
Oh,
they're watching.
Your story will tell you the truth,
Yes.
because your story will show you who all looking at your story, but they won't actually
You
comment
never
or
like
post
them on your page.
But it's fine. It's fine.
Because you got their attention, and that's what we want.
That's exactly right. And somebody watching, they may not be saying anything, but it's a funny thing about those little iPhones, because now it shows you when people screenshot your stuff.
It does.
So I be seeing when people screenshotting my stuff, and I be like, oh, okay, well, I hope that get where it need to
Yep,
get.
It does.
It's okay. Like, I don't worry about stuff like that, because the goal that I have is crazy, and I gotta stay focused. I'm on a timeline, not putting pressure on God or putting pressure on myself, but it's just a goal that I have, and I have a timeline to get to it. And I don't care if my mama wake up tomorrow and say, I no longer believe in you. It's gonna hurt my feelings for about an hour. And carry on. Yeah.
And that's the type of world we live in. You are absolutely right about that.
Yes.
Any business owners on here, entrepreneurs, period, we can't wear our feelings on our sleeve, because we will not progress. Mm-hmm. We will be we will become people pleasers.
That's it.
And that's what you do when you wear your feelings on your sleeve, because you try to please every single one around you.
Right.
And you forget about self.
Right. For
those who just tuned in, go ahead and like this video, share this video. Y'all can always go back and watch. It's very beneficial. So let's talk about your motivational speaking. Mm-hmm. When did you start that? What gave you the what made you say, I want to go and speak? What made you do that? Because some people are shy.
Right.
Some people don't want to really tell their truth, and that's what my platform is about. Like, I want to give people a chance. Hey, someone can learn from your story.
That's really what started happening. Mm-hmm. I try to turn the wheel back to business, but mm-hmm. people really were drawn to me because I'm just gonna be transparent. I can't hide. People say, I don't want people in my business or whatever. But
I hate that.
They gonna form their own formula anyway. So I'd rather you hear it from me first.
Exactly.
So people gonna formulate their own opinion. But the thing about it is, I got into motivational speaking because I just got tired of people selling a dream. You can paint me a picture all day and tell me, oh, well, this is how I became successful and this, that, and other. And I'm like, no, I'm over here like, I saw a woman that looked just like me with 2 children. One of them didn't have any shoes on, walking barefoot, and I said, I will not be her. So here's what I did from A to Z. I don't mind telling people the truth because I feel like I'm 10 years behind the game. If I knew what I knew now, then it would be a wrap. But I had to go through this process, and I don't feel like I'm doing it for myself. I feel like I'm doing it for the single mom, the bad relationship, the person who tired of going to work every day, making their company great, but not making themselves great. The person who just full of ideas and they don't have anybody to share it with. I'm talking to those people. And so those are the people who call me and they say, can you talk and motivate and do this, that, and the other? I follow Sarah Jakes Roberts. I love everything about her because she's very authentic and very transparent.
She talked about how she had a baby at a young age. I think it was 13. And she was the daughter of a pastor.
Not just a pastor.
The pastor. So,
right.
she had a lot of pressure on her. Mm-hmm. But one thing, when it's instilled in you, she came back to God.
Right.
Because that's something that was instilled in her from a young girl. And she's doing good, married.
Right.
Blended family. And I love her way of preaching because it's so non-traditional. She makes everyone feel welcome.
Right. And that's how you got to be. If you are authentic and transparent, you won't have any problems. Because you don't ever have to remember the truth. But if you put yourself out here as if you are this and you're that, you got to keep that up. And that's what the pressure comes in.
A lot of people doing that. They try to keep up an image. So how did it make you feel when you started, you were not the person you were back in the 90s? Mm-hmm. And people sometimes they feel like, oh, she thinks she's better now. Just because you want elevation. I tell people you can't keep doing the same things and expect to get different results.
Right.
So how did they, I know, did you hear the snicker, people talking about you? How did you deal with that? Because I know you're very strong. So how did you react to it sometimes, or you just let it go in one ear and out the other?
So
it's hard.
It took a lot of growth because there have been days where I type a full message and then I'd be like, Teia, you got people in California looking at you, you got people in Houston looking at you, so I just backspace. It's a lot of backspace going on in everything. For the simple fact that I didn't grow up that way.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up with people who were like social media gangsters. You know, if somebody in my day and age had an issue with somebody, they went to them. You know, the old school pull up method. You know, I got a problem with you, I'm telling you, but now we will tell everybody but the person that we have an issue with. But, you know, needless to say, I don't let that bother me because I have to consider where that person is. Mm-hmm. If Oprah says, Teia, I don't like the way you did this, or Gail King says, I don't like the way you did this, that's going to bother me because they're on the level that I'm trying to get to. But if somebody's on the level that I've already passed, you can't hurt my feelings. I already did that. It is not that I'm better. I always tell people I'm not better than anybody. I'm beyond certain things. So there's just certain things you're not going to get me to do. There's certain places I'm not going. It's not that I grew up, I had an amazing college. I thank God every day that there was no live, there was no social Facebook, there was none of that, because how serious would you take me if you went to college with me? However, at the end of the day, I don't live in that, and I don't knock people for what they do now, but it's just certain things that I'm not going to do because of where I'm trying to go or because of what I'm trying to do. And I hear a lot of stuff. People tell me a lot of things about myself. And all I say is, okay, you believe what you want to believe. I don't even have the energy to defend myself anymore. My business resume is so long and so thorough, and the references are there, the photos are there, so I don't have to defend myself to anybody. Now, I mean, if you say, well, you know, I heard that you're not successful in relationships, then ding, 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 you might have a winner. But even in that, that's up until this point, because James is awesome. And I can't say that enough. Like, I was to the point where I was willing to step back, which I am in 2020, kind of take a break from the business side and just focus on being a wife and being a mom, because he was worth that, you know. So people change for who they want to change. So if you're in a relationship and you don't see any growth or whatever, don't be like me and just put all the good stuff on social media and have people oohing and ahhing when you really just want to just be like, you know, this is not working. And that's really what I did, because that is my most critical area. That was my most I would have to say that's the area that I was not the strongest in. So because people only saw the business side of me, I felt like my social life, my personal life, for one, I didn't want random people in my inbox. So I was always pushing, I'm in a relationship, whether it was good or bad or not, I'm going to push it. One thing about me, I'm a promoter on everything. So I'm going to promote this relationship, whether it's good or bad, I'm going to promote it. But at the end of the day, I had to come to grips with myself, like, I'm selling a lie to these people. I'm telling them that I'm so happy and it's this and it's that, and it's not. And as soon as I came out of that and became real with myself, then now I don't have to sell them anything. They can look at my face and be like, oh, this is a little glow. And I'm like, I'm in the same complexion all my life. This ain't no glow.
They can tell. So that's very good. So what advice would you give to single mothers that's trying to walk in your footsteps? You know, being an entrepreneur, having a breakthrough, you know, just chasing their dreams, you know, and being able to put their children first, but still being a businesswoman, because it's hard, especially for African American women.
I would tell them that you got to do it at your own pace and do it your own way. You don't always see my kids, but I'm a mother to them 24/7. You know, you're not going to always see me at the school having lunch or whatever, but they are well taken care of. And I pat myself on the back for that, because society portrays what a mother should be doing, or what a dad should be doing, or what you should be doing as a businesswoman. There are a lot of things that I do as a businesswoman society won't agree with. Or you always traveling. Well, my kids eat every day. They got to have lights every day. They got to have water every day. I also have a full-time job, because we got to have insurance. We got to have a 401k. So while it doesn't look the part on social media or in real life to you, I'm securing a real bag for them. And so I don't apologize for that. I do everything my own way. I handle my relationships my own way. I'm going to handle, well, we will handle our marriage our way. I don't look to do things for people's approval. And so I would encourage a single woman to think about what it's going to take to make her happy. Because if she's not happy, nobody, the kids, everybody suffers at the hand of the provider. So if the provider is not taking care of herself, if she's not, mentally focused for herself, what good is it? Sometimes we listen to people, and when they hang up the phone, they go into bed. When you hang up the phone with them, you're still looking at those same bills. So they didn't really help you. They just guided you through the next hour. So you gotta focus and think for yourself. If you have to let things go, if you have to miss stuff, if you have to sacrifice this for that, do it. Just do it.
So how do you juggle being a businesswoman and being a mom too?
So, I'm gonna tell a little secret. I'm not as busy as I look. By the time I post things, I'll be home, or I might be, in my bed or something. To people, it looks like you just go, 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 go. But I really don't. I hear about my kids' day every single day. They have a cell phone. They check in with me because they beat me home sometimes, or, babysitter gets them. We talk about everything. We play bingo. We play Uno. It's just, all of that is just not televised. I mean, we not shown my relationship. He gets all the time he requests because he's deserving of that, but he understands what I'm trying to do as a businesswoman, and so he'll say, oh, we going to Houston, or we going to Jacksonville, or we doing this, or we doing that. So he gets it. So the thing is, it's just surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, and then you don't have to compromise who you are. You can balance. You can make people make time for what they want to make time for. So I see the Young and the Restless every night. I've not missed an episode.
You don't watch Greenleaf?
No, I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch the Young and the Restless.
You watch the stories?
Yeah, I record it on the DVR. When I get home, that's the first thing.
You watch the stories.
Watch the stories. Yeah.
So how did you become a community advocate?
By benefiting from the community.
Mm-hmm.
If I never had to get water or get my electricity or my water bill paid, I wouldn't have saw the importance of supporting that. If I never had to get a jacket from somebody or something like that, my best friend used to comb my hair every morning because I had all brothers, and my mom was in the military, and her mom would catch me and say, just leave your house a little earlier and I'll comb your hair so you go to school, just so I wouldn't get picked at or anything like that. So community has always taken care of me. So my goal was to take care of my community. I started with my street, the street that I grew up on. I went to the city and keep Savannah beautiful, and I said I want to adopt that street because I can't go clean nobody else's street before I take care of my street. This is the street I grew up on. That's my parents' house. That's my grandma's house. Those are my neighbors. So I went and adopted that street. We do 4 cleanups a year. And I'm all about, I used to be a teacher. Now, it's not really my calling, so that's why I came out of it, but I love kids. So I will help and do whatever I can because the community is really what's going to take care of you. I'm thinking long term. So when I get older and my kids are out there, I want somebody to say, you know what, your mama did a lot for us. What you need, just in case they fall off the wagon, because it don't matter how good of a position I put them in. Some people learn that it's life, right?
So what's before we end the interview, I want to ask you, what was the biggest moment in your career for you? What were you most proud of throughout your whole career from starting in 2013, having to build yourself up, trusting God, as far as you have gotten now with all the things, the great things you have going on? What was the biggest accomplishment for you?
The book, going in the bookstore. I'm going to tell you why. When I was in 3rd grade, I was reading on a kindergarten, 1st grade level. And it wasn't that I couldn't read, but I had for lack of a better words, a reading disability. And I could read out loud, but I couldn't comprehend what I just read. So I would have to go back and read it again and tell you per sentence what it's about. Because if you asked me per paragraph, I couldn't do it. And so I had a teacher who actually just took so much time. Miss Wilhite, she took so much time to help me get to the correct level. They put me in chapter 1, title 1, all these ones. And it was isolating because you couldn't be in the same class with your friends. Somebody would come and pull you out and take you behind this curtain. And then, and she just took so much time with me. And as I grew up and went older and I got in high school, I ended up in this AP advanced class, and the teacher was just so rough. She was just like so rough. And I said, you know what? I don't know. I felt like I needed to prove to her that I could do this. because she would always address certain students in the class, but she would never address me as if you in here by default type thing. And I didn't like that at all. So in writing the book, I wrote the book, I went through the same channels, and my brother, we joke about this all the time because my brother said, well, it's a paperback book. It's not going to go in the Barnes & Noble store. You know, it'll go online, but it's not going to go in the Barnes & Noble store. And I'm old school. Nobody could tell me no. When I was younger, no one could tell me no. You can give me a slow yes, but you can't give me a fast no. So when he said that, I said, okay, watch. My book going in Barnes & Nobles. And I was very sickening and persistent. I think I drove the poor Barnes & Noble lady here, manager here, crazy. But after a while, they called me back and they said, you know what, we're going to do a book signing. Would you like to be a part of it? And it was in that moment that I saw Ms. Wilhite, who helped me read, and then I saw the teacher who was like a barrier, and here I am years later in a bookstore. And it trumped. Well, I can't say it trumped because, you know, being a mom is like the best experience ever. But that self-fulfillment for me, for somebody to tell me I can't do something, or for, before Ms. Wilhite came, they were just passing me along. Like, you know, you getting promoted, even though our TDS test come, 9-week test come, I'm failing the language arts part, but we just gonna put you on, just keep, you getting a little too tall, so let's just keep promoting you. But it felt great to see my book, my name, everything. My dad dropped out of high school. I promised him, me and my siblings promised him that we would get the highest education we could possibly get. Now, you know, I'm 10 years in this doctorate program, so he might have to skip me and go to another sibling. But
you know, they say that's the one degree that you would kind of take your time.
Oh, who won't put pressure on me to do it? I'm not worried about it.
They say 3 years, but some people say 5.
Honestly, it's a long, it's a process.
It's a process.
And it's
really
not cheap.
It's not.
But at the same time, see, that's my greatest accomplishment with seeing that book, getting the book. If I don't do anything else, if they snatch everything else from me, they can't take my book out of that store. It's in there forever. I could go there right now. It's in there forever. And that in itself is the greatest accomplishment.
And that is, and I'm extremely proud of you because I feel like Black women, we have to stick together.
We do.
I feel like you have a lot of people out there, they say, oh, I'm for women empowerment, but when you walk into a room, everybody's looking you up and down. And you know, so it's like, are you really for women empowerment, or you just like saying it because it sounds good?
Right.
You know,
right.
So that's why I'm at. I want us to support each other, you know, get to know each other, and definitely don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Because so many people do that. I tell people all the time, I'm the type of person, I'm the type of one where everybody just gets a clean slate with me.
Right.
I'll give you your own chance to hang yourself. Right. But I'm not going to judge you because people treat people accordingly. Right. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I got a gift for you. You know I ain't rich yet, but I'm on rich in spirit.
Oh,
so I bought you this. You're welcome. From Hobby Lobby. Because I was looking at your personality and I was like, I know her house bad.
It's okay.
I know. I was like, no. She probably one of the people that got the fur on the floor.
No, not with my son. No.
Oh yeah, you do got a boy.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I like things clean, but
it's
yeah,
different with the boys.
No, not yet. My kids, they don't have any car manners, which is why I couldn't get my dream car. I got a car, but I couldn't get my dream car because they don't have car manners. They're still children.
My son not allowed to get in my car.
So I'll get my dream house when they cross the stage.
Well, when you get your dream house, you know you go at Hobby Lobby and get you some stuff.
But I love Hobby Lobby.
I know you do. I love it too. It's so different. I feel like they cater to all styles.
Yes, they do.
They cater to all styles. So I want you to tell you're welcome. I want you to tell everyone who's watching how can they get in touch with you.
Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, as Teia Acker. I also have the Teia Acker Resilient, and that was because I was trying to separate my personal self from the public figure self, because the Teia Acker is actually the motivational speaker, and then Ebony and Ivory is actually the business. So it kind of confused some people, but the right people got it. And then, of course, you can always email me if it's about business, info@ebonyivoryps.com. If it's about motivational speaking, personal development. It's www.teiaacker.com or info@teiaacker.com. So it's 2 ways.
So yeah, why you was letting me say Acre?
Because it's spelled the same. It's no. My dad says Acker. Everybody else says Acker. My mom calls me Teia. Everybody else says Tia. It's not personal. As long as it's spelled right on the check, I can spell it.
Exactly. So y'all, today I had the lovely Miss Teia
Acker.
Acker on the Pearl Show. Y'all can go ahead and like this video, share this video, definitely comment, tag someone in it, especially a woman, because we all can learn from each other. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know Mondays, every Monday at 7 p.m. Season 1 is wrapping up. Season 2 will be pre-recorded. So y'all can expect, Season 2 will be pre-recorded, so y'all know what that means.
Yes.
So I appreciate y'all. Y'all can follow me on all social networks at Pearl the Celebrity, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I thank y'all for coming and viewing the show always. And y'all have a good night. Go back up. Okay, go to the right. Go to the end. Down some more. Okay, here. Hold on, here, finish. Okay.